Welcome back to the deep dive, where we really try to cut through the noise and get straight to the insights you actually need. And today, wow, we are plunging headfirst into a topic that's not just buzzing. I mean, it's practically shouting from the rooftops everywhere. Artificial intelligence, specifically how it's shaking up the whole world of sales. Everyone, and I mean everyone, seems to be scrambling for an AI plan. But, sometimes I worry we're all charging into this brave new world maybe a little too quickly without really understanding the terrain. That's why we're dissecting AI in sales today, because, yeah, it holds immense power, but it really truly is a double-edged sword.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And our mission for this deep dive, really, is to explore precisely how AI can supercharge sales teams, make them faster, smarter, yeah, incredibly efficient. But, and this is crucial, we also need to confront its hidden risks head on, because our source material today really drills down on how AI can, well, amplify mistakes. It can silently erode trust with your prospects, and it can even dull that unique competitive edge, the thing that sets you apart. So the real question isn't if you should use AI anymore, it's how. How do you wield it strategically without losing control of your sales workflow or, maybe most critically, your team's hard-won credibility? That's the tightrope we're walking.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, a tightrope. And guiding us on this intricate journey is a really insightful piece from the sales experts. It's titled The Hidden Risks of Artificial Intelligence in Sales and How to Win with It by Wyn Nathan Davis. And like always, we're not just summarizing it, we're trying to extract the crucial, actionable insights for you listening so you can truly master AI, not, be mastered by it. We're going to unpack everything from the absolute non-negotiable need for good data all the way to how we can fiercely protect that human creativity in a world that feels increasingly run by algorithms.
That's a perfect framing. Because here's a foundational truth highlighted in our source that really sets the stage for everything else we'll talk about. AI doesn't magically fix broken systems. It just doesn't. What it does do is scale them. So if your existing sales process, your core messaging, your underlying data, if all that is already strong, robust, AI acts as an incredible force multiplier that lifts your results higher faster. But, and this is the critical warning if those foundations are weak, AI will simply spread those weaknesses, those inefficiencies, those bad habits, faster and wider than ever before. It's a powerful force, for better or worse. And it will expose your existing flaws with, frankly, brutal efficiency.
That point about AI scaling rather than fixing. Wow,
Yeah.
that's so vital because
Right.
so many leaders are rushing, right?
Right.
Rushing to adopt these new AI sales tools. It feels almost like a fear of missing out, isn't it, FOMO? But our source makes a really clear distinction here that we need to understand right up front because there seem to be two very different paths with AI in sales. And confusing them could be, well, catastrophic.
Indeed. And understanding this distinction is maybe the most important takeaway for anyone even thinking about implementing AI. We have what our source calls assistive AI, and then there's automated AI. With assistive AI, think of the tool like a co-pilot, or maybe a highly efficient personal assistant. It drafts content, sure. It summarizes loads of information, suggests next steps, but your people, your sales team, they're the ones who ultimately edit. They decide. They own the final outcome. Human judgment stays absolutely central. And because of that, trust stays intact. This approach genuinely enhances your people.
Right. So assistive AI sounds like it really champions the human element, keeps us firmly in the driver's seat. But I can already hear some listeners thinking, wait a minute, if it's always human edited, am I really getting the full efficiency boost AI promises? Is there a point where that human oversight becomes a bottleneck? And then what about the other side, this automated AI you mentioned? How much control are we really giving up there?
That's a fair challenge, yeah. While assistive AI might seem like it needs more human touch, it's about focused human effort, not necessarily more total effort. Think about the difference between writing an email totally from scratch versus spending, say, 2 minutes refining an AI-generated draft. The time saved in that initial creation is just enormous. Conversely, automated AI, that's when the tool generates content and makes decisions, even sends messages, with your team maybe only reviewing things later, if at all. This feels incredibly efficient on the surface. You can imagine the allure, right? Set it and forget it. But this path carries really significant risks. Our source warns it can lead to false claims being sent out, poorly fit meetings getting scheduled that just waste everyone's time, and ultimately to significantly lower win rates. Because that human element, discernment, emotional intelligence, genuine connection is largely missing. AI works best as an enhancer, truly. It should handle the administrative stuff, the research, the first drafts, spotting simple patterns. Let your people focus on the complex judgment calls, the nuance, building those relationships.
That idea of AI as an enhancer, not a replacement, really sticks. Because, like you said, if it's enhancing a broken system, we're just making a mess faster. Which leads us right to the absolute bedrock of any successful AI strategy. Something so fundamental it feels obvious, yet it's probably the most overlooked pitfall. Our source puts it bluntly: bad data breaks everything. It's not just a cliche here, it's a catastrophe waiting to happen.
It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But the real insight here, the thing many leaders miss, is how AI doesn't just reflect bad data. It actually accelerates its destructive potential. Imagine giving a rocket engine bad fuel. It doesn't just sputter, it explodes faster. AI is that rocket engine for your data. If your CRM, which is basically the brain of your sales operation, if it's messy or incomplete, AI will only magnify that chaos. See, an AI system learns from your data. If it's learning from duplicates, outdated leads, inconsistent job titles, or just plain junk in critical free text fields, it's going to produce equally chaotic and unreliable outputs. You'll end up sending deeply personalized messages to the wrong person, maybe pitching a product to a company that already bought it last month. The system just extrapolates what it's given with, frankly, terrifying speed.
Okay, so if AI is just scaling our existing mess, it sounds like the real first step isn't about AI at all. It's much more fundamental, like a digital spring cleaning. What does that spring cleaning actually look like for sales data, and what's the actual cost of getting this wrong, beyond just, being inefficient?
Exactly right. The source gives a pretty clear checklist. You need to actively watch for duplicates, they inflate your numbers, mess up targeting, identify missing critical fields, ensure consistency in things like job titles or industries, and eliminate those outdated or dead leads clogging up the system. Crucially, before you even think about automation, you need to be ruthless in cleaning your data. This means merging those duplicates, closing out inactive leads, fixing inconsistent titles. And the source offers a very practical benchmark. If fewer than 80% of your records are complete and correct, you should just pause automation, full stop. The cost of falling short: well, you'll automate sending incorrect info. You'll waste valuable sales time chasing ghosts. You'll damage your brand's reputation. And ultimately, you'll drive down win rates because your AI is aiming at the wrong targets with the wrong message. Investing in data cleanliness before AI, honestly, it's one of the highest ROI activities you can undertake.
That 80% rule is such a solid, actionable benchmark. Makes it really clear. I'm personally picturing my own overflowing email inbox right now and realizing how much bad data I probably have just sitting there. It makes me wonder, okay, once you've got your data in order, you might be thinking, great, now AI can just churn out emails and messages for me.
Yep.
Hang on. Our source hits on another critical point, one that, frankly, I've experienced myself as a customer. Buyers can sense a machine. Have you ever gotten an email that just felt off, like it was written by a robot trying really hard to sound human? I once got one that started, "As a forward-thinking podcast listener," and I just immediate delete.
Oh, absolutely. That's a perfect example. And this is where the trust factor comes crashing in. Trust is so incredibly fragile in sales. Prospects don't inherently dislike tools. What they despise is lazy, generic outreach. Feels disrespectful, right? Trust collapses almost instantly when messages open with obvious generic lines like your example, or when the AI guesses at a prospect's pain points instead of showing real research, genuine understanding. And of course, nothing screams machine louder than fake personalization, just throwing in a company name without any real context, or making claims that can't be easily proven. A telltale sign I often see is when the message tries too hard to be friendly. Overly casual language or emojis that feel totally out of place for the context. It just creates this jarring disconnect.
So, if AI is drafting these messages, how do we stop it from sounding like, well, a machine? How do we keep that human touch, maintain credibility when we're trying to leverage its speed?
Well, the fix, according to our source, is really about keeping it short, specific, and credible. Use AI for those first drafts, absolutely. Leverage the speed. But then a human must always, always edit. Fact-check every single claim. Simplify the message before it goes out. The source even suggests setting guardrails, like manually review the first few sends for any new sequence you launch, and wherever possible, always link to proof. A case study, a relevant article, something tangible. This shows authenticity and prevents those generic, trust-killing messages. It really is about combining AI speed with human verification and judgment.
This also brings up a really important and, frankly, a bit scarier side of AI implementation that the source touches on: compliance and ethical risks. If AI is generating content, pulling data, maybe even interacting with prospects on our behalf, what are the new pitfalls we need to be really aware of?
That's a critical area, yeah. And the compliance risks definitely ramp up with these AI tools. Think about it. Personal data might be passing through third-party systems, maybe without clear oversight. That raises huge privacy concerns: GDPR, CCPA, all of that. Calls could be recorded and transcribed automatically, which brings up consent issues. Did the prospect clearly agree? AI-generated drafts might inadvertently include unverified claims, puffery that crosses a line. Or even worse, prospects might not realize they're interacting with a machine at all, which can feel deeply deceptive and, well, that erodes trust faster than almost anything. These aren't just theoretical worries, they're real-world liabilities.
Okay, so what steps can teams actually take to reduce these kinds of risks, to make sure they're staying compliant, staying ethical, while still embracing the tech?
The source offers clear guidance here, too. First, you need to thoroughly audit every AI tool you're considering or using. Understand their data usage policies, their storage policies. Scrutinize the terms of service. Boring, I know, but essential. Control access levels. Who can use which tools? Who can see what information within them? Granularity matters. It's also really wise to log AI outputs. What did it generate when, based on what prompt or data? Create an unassailable audit trail for accountability. And most importantly, train your teams relentlessly. Hammer home the message. Treat all AI-generated text as drafts, never as final copy ready to send. Human review is non-negotiable. And because this landscape changes so fast, policies need to be refreshed quarterly, along with real-world examples to keep everyone up to date and aware of the evolving risks.
This is all making me think about how much we rely on AI to just, give us answers, to create content. But if everyone's doing that and everyone's feeding it roughly similar public data, aren't we all just going to start sounding exactly the same? Our source has a great point on this. Don't let AI kill creativity.
That's a profound observation, honestly. And it gets right to the heart of long-term competitive advantage. AI, by its very nature, repeats patterns. It analyzes vast amounts of existing data and generates content that aligns with those discovered patterns. It doesn't truly invent new ones. Not really. So if sales teams lean too heavily on AI for all their messaging, all their pitches, their voice will inevitably start to blend in with competitors using the same tools on similar data. That unique spark, that original angle that makes a prospect actually sit up and listen, that unexpected insight that resonates, that gets lost. The danger isn't just sounding generic, it's becoming completely forgettable.
So if AI is kind of democratizing basic content creation, does that mean the real competitive advantage shifts entirely away from what you say, maybe more towards how you say it, or even who is saying it, the human connection? How do we protect that unique edge, that human creativity, when AI is so darn good at churning out pretty decent enough content?
It absolutely does shift the focus, yes. And it requires a conscious, proactive strategy to protect that originality. The source suggests several key ways, like run monthly idea sessions specifically focused on generating fresh pitches, new approaches. Don't just rely on tweaking old templates forever. Actively test these new angles with live accounts. Get real-world feedback. See what actually resonates. Build what the source calls a story bank. Collect unique client wins, successful anecdotes. These are the human emotional elements AI just can't replicate authentically. We call it earned originality. And crucially, celebrate originality and clear human writing within your team. Reward it. Maybe shift your focus a bit from just vanity metrics like email reply rates towards outcomes that truly matter. Win rates, securing meetings with senior decision makers, closing those complex new deals. These are the metrics where human creativity really moves the needle and where true differentiation lies.
It sounds like the overall message here is fundamentally about balance, isn't it? It's not really AI versus humans, but humans with AI.
Right.
Working together. The source title itself, How to Win with It, implies this kind of symbiotic relationship that we have to actively cultivate.
Exactly. AI in sales should enhance workflows, not replace them wholesale. And the source offers a really practical framework for achieving this balance. For prospecting, for example, AI might draft 2 email options and maybe a call opener, but then the salesperson edits, deeply personalizes based on their own research, and then sends after calls. Sure, AI can summarize the key points, maybe even suggest some follow-up actions based on the transcript, but the sales rep verifies that summary. Did the AI get the nuance right? And personalizes any follow-up with the unique insights from the actual conversation. For proposals, yeah, AI can gather past answers to common questions or pull relevant data points, but a human must check the tone, the accuracy, and add that strategic persuasive layer before it ever goes out the door. It's that critical human verification and personalization step that makes all the difference between a generic, easily ignored message and a truly impactful one.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we even know what this balance is actually working? If we're making these investments in AI, changing our workflows, are there specific metrics we should be tracking to make sure we're truly winning with AI, not just, spinning our wheels with new tech?
Definitely. You need hard numbers, not just feelings. Track hours saved? That's a direct efficiency gain from AI, assuming the quality holds up. Look closely at your reply-to-meeting conversion rates. Are they genuinely improving, or are they maybe declining because the outreach feels less personal, even if it's faster? Crucially, track your win rates. Track proposal accuracy or deals stalling because of errors. And for onboarding new team members, how quickly are they ramping up and becoming productive with AI tools supporting them versus without? The source makes it really clear. If the metrics aren't improving tangibly, then you should seriously question using that specific tool or approach. Maybe stop it, or at least reevaluate. It has to be about tangible results, not just perceived efficiency or, chasing the latest shiny object.
Right. So, bringing it all back home then, the core message from our deep dive today seems crystal clear. AI won't close deals for you. It's not some magic bullet that makes the sale all by itself. But it will save time. It will surface critical patterns you might otherwise miss. And it will undeniably help strong teams move faster and more intelligently. We've really talked through this critical balance, emphasizing that AI is a powerful tool, yes, but it's designed to enhance, not replace, that essential human judgment, that intuition, and the creativity that are truly irreplaceable in sales.
And to really hammer home what we've uncovered today, let's just quickly reiterate those 3 non-negotiable pillars for winning with AI in sales, straight from our source. First, you absolutely must keep your data clean. Remember that vital importance of data accuracy. If fewer than 80% of your records are complete and correct, just pause the automation. Seriously. Second, protect trust in every single interaction. That means zero lazy generic outreach. Focus on genuine personalization, rigorously fact-checking every claim, and linking to proof whenever you can. Build credibility. And third, you have to actively defend creativity and originality. AI repeats patterns. So your sales teams must actively foster new ideas, test fresh angles, build that story bank of unique wins, and truly celebrate powerful human writing to maintain that competitive edge.
Exactly. And that distinction we discussed earlier between assistive AI, where human judgment stays central, and automated AI, which carries those significantly higher risks of false claims and low win rates. That's your practical framework right there. Let AI draft, sure, but always ensure humans edit and verify. That's where the real power lies.
Precisely. And maybe to leave you with a final thought-provoking statement, one that comes directly from our source. People create trust. Tools create leverage. Winning sales teams need both. Cool. So this raises an important question, I think, for you listening. How can you ensure your sales team maximizes AI's leverage, all that incredible speed and insight, while simultaneously deepening the human trust that only your people can build? What small intentional step will you take this week, maybe even today, to strike that perfect winning balance?